Hello, encouragers. I'm Rebecca Scott, wife, mother of 4, author, and owner and designer of Rebecca Scott Designs. I'm here to encourage you, to make you feel the I can do this spirit each and every day of our awesome journeys to fulfill those many important roles. I believe we are fully equipped to execute, and I will provide you with as much knowledge and practices and systems as I can to help you understand just what I know you can do. Execute. We got this. Hello, encouragers. On today's podcast, I want to chat with you with a little talk I got to have with our local Chamber of Commerce. Every once in a while, thankfully, it's getting to be more frequently, I get recruited to do speeches. And if you're interested, I do love to do it because I love to be as relatable as possible about what business really is like. And obviously, you've got to hear that on the podcast throughout the years that, I tell you the everything because I'm trying to help you to avoid some of the awesome, expensive mistakes I have, but also set you up for success with some of the great, amazing successes I have had because of the systems that I've really stayed disciplined on. So this is one of those cases where they asked me to share about some gut-punching mistakes along the way. And the word that they used, gut punching, was from a podcast that I was a guest on. And you've heard me talk about it throughout the podcast, my gut punching reaction to someone saying, how are you getting it all done? And I'll tell you here in a little bit about it. That was my reaction. So I'm going to talk about that in a little bit more detail today, and then also talk to you about sort of the originality of the podcast and how it actually started. And so I'm excited to tell you some of the details behind that as well. So if you want to know the full title of my talk that day, it was Life, Business, and Gut-Punching Mistakes Along the Way. All my life, I've been about action. I like to break large concepts down and act on them as fast as possible. Can you relate? My mom said she could hardly mention things to me as a child because I would immediately want to get started. And my siblings know, do not mention anything to Becca or any idea that you're even halfway serious about because she will help make sure it happens. Oh, I do love that. And it has served me well over the years to be so action-oriented, but it's also caused some hiccups. There's no sense in using the word mistakes. They are just learning experiences. Like when you have a daughter that's bossy, you don't call her bossy. You say she has good leadership skills, right? Same thing here. For example, in 2010, about 6 years into my business, I realized I needed more sales in the in-between months of show season. I travel a lot for the art shows around the Midwest and now even across the nation. But in those years, that was my only cash flow, was the show season or the here and there trunk show. When people used to meet together in their homes, now we get like 20 to 30 invites on Facebook for whoever is hosting whatever show. And it was a different time in 2010. People would actually come on over and not just buy the token item. Now we just also buy the $10 item to say that we bought something and their sister and their mother-in-law shows up. And you all know what I'm talking about. So it has changed since then, but I did book trunk shows in the beginning. And that was one part of my business model. I had a website at the time that worked and it showed my purses really, but it wasn't very user-friendly and it definitely wasn't bringing in any income. So I gathered up my sales reps. Were 6 of them at the time. But let me paint a very clear picture. Some were cousins. Some were friends. One was my twin sister. So, 6 sounds like a lot. But I do also want to be humble and let you know, some of these guys I just recruited in. But they were good. I gathered them up into my, at the time, 140-year-old farmhouse. And the reason I mention that is because we all know when something is that old, it's not always predictable. The word character just means unpredictable. Like if you ask me what the word character means, I'd be, well, it means unpredictable. And that's how I felt about the farmhouse. But, I love, right there in that minute, I think, I still love that place. Anyways, that morning, the day of the meeting, the heater went out. And I mean, it was I'm pretty sure the meeting was in January, late January, to kind of plan for spring and trying to book some shows. Cold. And we had to wear our coats. And then eventually we had to wear a hat and mittens. We were so cold. Like, is that dedication or what? Or is that young entrepreneurship or what? Yeah, that's what that was. So I told the sales reps, we need more sales in the off season and we need to book more trunk shows. So how do we go about doing this? I knew to ask more people than just myself. I'd been doing a ton of reading. I knew I wasn't the one that could be the only one that could solve this problem. So I asked them, how can we help? How was it going with asking the host to see if one of her guests would like to host a show? Because that's usually how that works. Somebody hosts, they get somebody else to host, they get double reward points or something like that. And actually what they suggested was a catalog. Glossy pages and products spread beautifully out so customers could take home a catalog and not have to decide on the spot, or even they could leave the catalog at places of business for orders to come in from their coworkers, right? Yeah. The sales could happen outside a time frame and the host wouldn't feel so pushy. It could just be a week-long show that's going on. And me, of course, at the time wanting to sew instead of sell, I had to decide which one am I better at. I was definitely better at the sewing at the time than the selling. Now, honestly, with as many business years as I have under my belt, I am probably better at the selling part, just knowing my product that much more and knowing how much it can help people. I don't think of it as selling. It's just how much more joy and help I can give to people through a product. But at the time, I was like, yeah, then I don't have to show up for shows. I don't have to do all of that. This is going to be brilliant. Well, remember what I said at the beginning here about action? I'm really good at action. And so got it done. Here we go. In about 3 months, an editor, a publisher, and a model shoot happened. Then the order form, a sheet of the latest fabrics, and the order process was mostly dialed in. All in all, loads of action and a $10,000 price tag. Wait, what? Yeah, $10,000. Okay, well, breathe out. I'm going to be able to do this. I'll just keep selling, of course. And the action part, I know the action part of it will be the catalog when the sales start coming in with this awesome catalog, right? And then my second thought is, okay, yep, I'm going to make a goal. Yeah, I'm going to get out my cute little index cards that I used at the time. Now everyone knows I use the agenda sheet. Totally look it up on the resource tab on the website. At the time, it was index cards. I wrote the goal on there with a cute little colored Sharpie. Yeah, I create for a living. It's always going to be pretty. Put it on there, and I thought, yep, the first year I want to do $6,000 in sales. I wanted to be a little aggressive, right? And what? It did have a $10,000 price tag. Okay, done. Put it up on the wall. No steps beneath the goal. Just get after it. Okay, I have since learned so much about goal planning, and I hope you have too, especially if you've been listening to this podcast for some time. Girls, we cannot just set a goal. We have got to have steps behind it and intention and the why. That'll cause me a whole nother podcast, so let's keep going. Well, setting that goal of $6,000 was not quite all I had to do. The sales reps tried. They really did, and so did I. However, the catalog bombed. I mean, bombed, you guys. My learning experience cost me $9,460. Yeah, don't kid yourself. I know exactly how much that thing cost me. This one hurt enough that my husband had to question what went wrong. Peeling me off the floor might have encouraged him to ask more questions. So I did. I figured the price tag warranted some time to reflect on what happened. Well, the catalog was okay, except I didn't like the model shoot. It was a 12-year-old girl that they had set to look like an older girl by just photoing her from the shoulders down and putting old mom shoes on her. I mean, I should have spoke up, you guys. The graphics were dated and the order process on there was a little time consuming. Also, with researching a little bit more, because I needed to because it cost me so much money, my prices were too high for most catalog sales. It's easier to buy a pair of earrings or a garlic crusher at $30 than to commit to a $140 price point sight unseen. I didn't have very catalog-friendly price points. But those are all surface issues. What is the real problem? After some time, and mostly tears, it dawned on me I was asking the wrong audience. In an effort to increase my sales, I asked my sales reps, of course, but they don't pay the bills or grow the business necessarily. The customers do. I needed to ask the customers what they wanted from us. And you know what? I already knew the answer. They wanted a better website. This way, they could order in their PJs at home, not from work, not from some desk, and not from some pushy relative. They just wanted a better website, and they wanted a design your own tool that they could play around with and become a part of the creative process. So I knew, okay, Rebecca, dry up. It's time to take action. And you are really good at this part, remember? I pored over website possibilities and hired a new website company, and I managed a payment plan I could handle to grow my business. I made up the $10,000 in sales on the website within 6 months. Boom. Now that is action. Now there's a lot of details in between there to get to that. And the website did cost me some money as well, but I have plenty of podcasts where I recorded about my website experience as well. And I highly encourage you to listen to those as well, please. If you have a problem in your business, whether it's internal or external, are you asking the right audience? It's so easy to solve the problem in front of us and quick buy the product or change the website or buy the new equipment to be faster, more efficient, or to just change the catalog, get a better model, get a better process, whatever it is. But will that improve things for your customer? The one paying you to do what you love? Ask them, and believe me, they will have opinions, but after all, they are the ones helping you to succeed. And then again, to avoid large, expensive learning experience, and air quotes here, also ask yourself, is this really the problem? Or is this the symptom of a deeper problem? Keep asking and circling. It's worth the time to dig deeper before taking massive action to solve a symptom, not a root problem. I know you guys are good at action. I know that you wake up and you go, I'm going to make myself a to-do list, and you get after it. But the things that require more time, and the bigger you get in business, you need to spend more time on the thinking part. And I say that in kind of my disciplinary tone because I need to hear it myself every single day. So ask yourself, who will benefit from my new solution? Are they the ones who asked for it? And are they the ones ultimately paying for it? And another situation that has caused me to take massive actions in a direction I didn't know I was headed, this one not nearly as expensive. Woohoo! Cheap mistake. Actually, this one wasn't even a mistake. This was a total win, and you're listening to it right now. I do pickups and drop-offs with my employees and seamstresses every Wednesday at Hy-Vee on 10th Street at 8:30 a.m. I grew up West River. A locked car is just an elderly gentleman who accidentally hit the automatic lock button. Yes, I do grocery shopping while they grab their new load and drop off their old load. But this morning was different. It was June. All 4 of my kiddos were home with me, so they got to come along for Errand Wednesdays. And you know how frequently I've talked about Errand Wednesdays, you guys. We were up, dressed, our beds were made, the car was packed, and the list was in hand. The seamstress I was meeting was new to my staff, a mother of 3, and really excited to sew with little ones nearby. She texted earlier to confirm the time of 8:30, and I cheerfully replied back, "Yep, see you soon." It was 8 a.m. We rolled into the parking lot, and we're just getting our things together and getting ready to go inside, and she too rolled up with her kiddos in 2. I explain this in detail to illustrate a point, so no judgment here, mamas, okay? Stay with me. She was wearing her PJs, her sunglasses were on, her hair was undone, and her kiddos looked the same as well. They were cheery, but they were clearly not embracing mommy's new early gig. She took one look at me, ready for our day, dressed, face on, girls' hair was done, and the list was ready, and said in exasperation, "You have got to be kidding me. You aren't always like this, are you?" And I quickly replied, "Oh, no. We have mornings like that too." But as soon as it escaped my mouth, I felt a punch in my gut calling me out. I was being falsely humble. The truth was, I was ready for our day. I was up and I was ready to tackle my job and take massive actions on the things that I had prioritized. But I also knew, wait, I can help you. I'm just doing what I know I love. These things I must do in order to succeed, and I can totally coach her to accomplish the things and the priorities that she wanted to. I realized I had something to give to help her with, and I desperately wanted to do that for her, to explain that you can have everything you're seeing with me and the kids right now in this moment. So coaching. I could coach women all over on how to do all their roles and do it with joy. I wasn't hiding something, smoking something special, or taking a magic pill. I was just very clear on my goals and my roles and my priorities. Hey, encouragers, I have 2 things that I want you to think about. Number one, the master course is happening right now. And oh my goodness, I love this course. I love getting to know the participants and for them to get to know each other. The amount of information that is being exchanged between me and our classmates is just so profound. And I want you to think about it already for next January. Because of the awesome life that I have set up, I decided to offer this course new to this year only in January through June. The rest of the year is very awesome with kids at home and my Rebecca Scott Designs business. So if you are thinking about entering the master course, it is still available for 2021 starting in January. You need to start thinking about it now. Because of the limited availability, it will fill up fast. And so far we have a class of 6, and that's how many we want it capped at for 2021 as well. So if you'd like to be a part of our master course where we will help you work out the roles, the priorities, the boundaries, the deal breakers, and the systems in your life to really get it done, you've got to sign up for the course. Remember, encouragers, we've got this. So I started writing down everything I did during the day to get it all done. How did I run my roles in order? How did I serve God, love Nicholas, nurture R4, and run my growing business? I had answers and I knew about action, remember? So I started a podcast, reading all my writings on how to get it done and do it with joy. That's the most important part. I actually do this with joy, you guys. Then I wrote a book, narrowing their systems to just 4 that she could conquer. Okay, another plug here, you guys. Get the book. It's only $20. I explain everything I do here in the podcast, and it's a workbook as well. You're going to love it. I talk about the me system, family system, food system, and the work system. This allows us to really understand what system is broken. Instead of thinking your whole life is chaotic, when you work through these systems, you'll realize maybe just one system is broken, and you can draw it out and work on that one instead of bailing on all of them. This particular seamstress and I worked on her family system to help her improve her methods so that her new job was a blessing and not a curse. While it is very good to be humble, are you being falsely humble about what exactly you are really good at and can then coach others on how to get there also? Or even leverage it for your business? How many mistakes or learning experiences could you help people or employees or fellow business owners avoid because you happen to do it very well? It's great to share our mistakes so we can learn, as you previously heard about my catalog. But what else can you share that you are extraordinarily good at? What are you being falsely humble over? And in my defense, I wasn't consciously being falsely humble, but getting my things and priorities done came naturally to me, and I worked on them every day. They did come naturally to me, but I definitely worked on them to get them better and better. So something that may come naturally to you that you aren't even aware of, but your employees or your family might be, will sound something like this. Oh, you know so-and-so, she is always fill in the blank, right? That's probably something you're naturally good at. Or it may sound like, well, you know so-and-so, she can really excel at whatever it is. Another one is, did anyone ever tell you you're really good at? And you guys know how I am. It does not have to be some sexy term that you're like an amazing whatever. It could be super mundane, but it's your jam and you're really good at it. I want you to admit it, okay? Or my favorite tell-all is, whoa, how did you do that? And you don't even know how to tell them how. In the moment, you may not know how to tell them how you did it, but if you think on it, you will be able to break it down on how you do it. That's something you're naturally good at, especially if you can't explain it right away, because it just comes so naturally to you. Or if your reaction to something is, oh, it's easy, I just blah, 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 that's also something that you're naturally good at. So I challenge you today, did you in fact learn your lesson or just solve the problem? And are you asking the right audience? And did you dig deep enough? Listen, there's no sense in making 10K mistakes. Okay, let's avoid that. Are you being falsely humble about something that could really bless people or change your bottom line? Or if you just owned it and professed, okay, everybody, I am really good at this and this is my jam. Let me show it to you. What could happen? What dreams could be fulfilled if you just owned it? Okay, encouragers, I hope you enjoyed what I had to say to the chamber and picked up on some of the things throughout the podcast that I've totally gotten to learn and enjoy over the years. So I challenge you to ask yourself, you guys, are you asking the right audience And what are you extraordinarily good at? Until next time, encouragers, we got this. I know how you can start executing on all the things that God has equipped you to do. You can pick up my book at theencouragerpodcast.com and check out the store complete with book, journal, and the master course. Also, make sure to check out the resources tab where you'll get a hold of all the PDFs from the podcast. Thank you for tuning in, encouragers. Remember to subscribe so it's automatically on your phone. And please rate and review me. We got this, encouragers.